Coach.
How's it going?
Good. So you finally got a chance to see Felipe Franks throw in person. I was curious how that looked and how everybody looked in the walkthrough stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't disappointing. Now we haven't been able to do that 11 on 11. We've had some individual where we've been able to throw and work some drills, but yeah, it did not disappoint at all. Watching him on tape, I figured he was going to have a real live arm, and he does. The thing I've been impressed with is just how he's been able to get the ball out of his hand, and just really consistent with all of his throws. So not a lot of wobble in the ball. I think he's going to be really, really sharp once we get going on Monday. So excited to see him and the rest of the guys. I've been very pleased with all the quarterbacks, watching them throw, because it was been a long time being able to see that.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Bob?
Hey, Kendall, how you doing?
Good, Bob. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, as far as the other quarterbacks, how's KJ doing? How healthy? I mean, do you feel like he's 100%? And then with Malik, what do you look? I know he's a true freshman. How's he done the walkthroughs? What are you looking for out of Malik?
Yeah, KJ, he's healthy. Looks really good. He rehabbed back home during most of the time when we were quarantined. And he has said that his shoulder hasn't bothered him at all. He feels really good. All of his movement skills appear to be really good. His throwing motion has not impaired him at all in that way. So I think he's full go. Malik's head's spinning just a little bit. Knew it would be. And to be honest, Bob, we've put quite a bit on him. And that's kind of by design. We've wanted to basically make him fail. We wanted to put a lot of information on them. That way they've seen it. And then once we, bring the information back up schematically, then at least they've seen it. So his head's been spinning a little bit, but his 1-2's there. So that's a big part of it.
Hutch?
Yeah, Coach, I was wondering, going into camp, I mean, how much do you think you've got your offense, how much of it has been installed, and how much you're confident in just going into camp percentage-wise?
Yeah, we probably got about 75% in. We're going to dial back just a little bit the first week. But we already had some stuff that the guys have. Getting some static. I don't know. He's a mute. But, yeah, we feel good about what we have in it. Like I said, probably 75%. And we'll be able to keep moving forward from that. So feel really good about what we've got in. And, as we continue to go and assess the personnel and figure out what guys do well, that'll determine, how much more that we decide to do.
Hey, Kendall, everything is so different about this year. I'm wondering how you feel about how prepared you guys are and what you've done so far, and then the questions that you want to see answered the first couple of weeks, the things that you're looking to get answered.
Yeah, Tom, I mean, obviously for everybody, whether it's us in sports or business, it's just been different. We're doing this Zoom call right now. So, I feel like where we're at, I feel really good. And the retention that our players have. I've talked earlier about, Malik and his want to. I think that's one of the biggest things that I see from this football team is they're eager to do right. They're eager to please. They want to learn. They want to get better. They're easy to coach because they're wanting to be successful. And, we're going to help them and allow them to do that. And what was the second part of your question?
Just the things that you're going to be looking for and questions that you want to see answered as camp goes on.
There's a lot. We haven't put a ball in the air yet. So there's so many things that come with that. Ball protection is going to be number one. That's going to be the biggest thing that we're going to have to make sure that we're preaching as coaches, and our players are going to police it themselves. But that's going to be the biggest thing is, right now there's really no contact with the walkthrough. There's really no high-speed collisions. We won't have that the first week. But that's going to be the biggest thing is being able to execute once, there are some repercussions to what you're doing. Right now you can kind of run freely and know that nothing's going to happen to you. That changes. And the guys have been doing it their whole life. But when you hadn't done it for a while, then, it may take a little bit. So that's the biggest thing is just making sure that we're able to protect the football. I feel like our tempo and how we want to mechanically be on offense, I think we're right where we need to be right now. I don't think any of us, our entire coaching staff would say that We didn't get spring ball, so we feel behind. Not at all. We've had 19 really good practices. I think Coach Pittman and the leadership he's given us as coaches and put together a schedule to have these walks and the way we've done it with our meeting time, taking advantage of all the time that we've been allotted has been excellent. So he's done a great job, and we have great coaches, and we're all ready for Monday.
Thanks, Kendall.
Mm-hmm.
Nate?
Kendall, as far as tight ends concerned, when you move tall, what have you seen from there since you moved him back to defense? What have you seen from that position, and what kind of depth are you developing?
I think we got good tight ends. Obviously, just best thing for the team. We moved Blaine back over, and he's looked really good, which we knew he would. But I feel good about the guys in that room. Kern and Henry, those guys have done a good job. And then Bax is another player that we have that's done a good job there. I think we have good depth at that position. We got to continue to, evaluate the physicality. And that's going to be the whole thing is that all the walkthroughs, you can see where guys fit and make sure they're, somewhat executing, but it really determines once you put on pads and you're able to do it and do it in a physical manner. So that's when you're going to be able to see if guys are going to be able to hold gaps or move people. And so that's going to be the biggest deal is once we're able to get in pads and evaluate those guys, we'll see who separates.
Nikki?
Coach, your running backs, not including Rakeem Boyd, like what are you looking for from the guy who ends up, backing him up? Like what kind of complementary skills or what are you seeing from those guys behind him?
Yeah, I've been pleased with the running backs. And I know you're not asking about Rakeem, but from a leadership standpoint, he's been unbelievable. He's been really, really good, not just with the running back room or offense. He's been just a great teammate overall. So can't say enough good things about Rakeem and how he's been. Production, taking care of the football, pass protection, all those things, being able to tell a line and, play at tempo and play at a high level where the quarterback's not always having to tell the guy what to do, because in our offense, that happens a lot. The signals come in a hurry. Quarterback's got to react. Running back's got to get signals in a line. And Traylon Smith's done a tremendous job back there. I think we got a host of guys. Oglesby's going to help us at the running back position. We feel like Spivey, TJ Hammond's kind of going back and forth. He's looked good at receiver. So, we'll see how it shakes out. Hopefully we can keep all those guys healthy. We're going to need them.
Russell Schapp.
Coach, you mentioned this or touched on it just a minute ago, but I wanted to get your thoughts on the job Coach Pittman has done with everything that's been thrown at him, this season in year one as being a head coach.
Well, you can look at, some of the things we've been able to do from a recruiting standpoint, and that's all Coach Pittman. It really is. He's the leadership that he's given our staff, and I do feel like we have one of the best staffs in the country, the people, the men that are in this building. And obviously he hand selected all those guys, and he's done a tremendous job. There's not a formula or a book you can turn to whenever this type of thing happens. And you have to go with common sense and instincts and doing what you feel like is best to help you, win. And that's really all we've done is we try to figure out what's the best things for the team, the players first, the staff, and then, make decisions on whether or not we feel like that's going to help us win a game. And so I think he's kept it pretty simple. But the thing about him is, what you're getting. And that's what I love about him is the consistency on a daily basis. You know exactly what you're going to get every single day. And you're going to come to work and you're going to have fun. But you're going to get a lot accomplished because he's going to be there in the staff meetings. He's going to be directing us to do what we need to get accomplished on a daily basis. And the thing that I appreciate is, obviously Coach Odom has head coach experience, and he's allowed the coordinators, including Coach Fountain, our special teams coordinators, to be very involved in all scheduling. And he's not just telling everybody exactly what to do. He wants to communicate and make sure we're all doing it right. And I think everybody appreciates that.
Thanks, Coach.
Kyle Deckelbaum.
Yeah, Coach, I'm assuming players have definitely come to you with questions about uncertainty, and just curious how you answer those.
Which uncertainties?
So as far as playing the season, just watching what's going on around the country.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, every position coach has their position players that are going to have questions. All we can do is continue to do what the government's allowing us to do. Everything that, and I didn't mention that with Coach Pittman and his leadership, but handling the COVID and really the no nonsense part of how we've handled it. You come in this office, anywhere in here, our players are all masked, coaches are all masked. We wear masks all day. And I know a lot of other colleagues that are in the same position we are that maybe aren't doing the same. So I can't speak enough about Coach Pittman and the leadership he's given us that way. But with the players, we feel like this is the safest place you can be. We've everything that we can do to make it as safe as you can. We've done it. Dave, our trainer, I think it's Pulaski. He's done a tremendous job every single day, giving us updates on all the players and what we're doing from a medical standpoint as well. And those players are going to him as well. And, I think we've done a tremendous job, and it started with Coach Pittman.
Very well.
Coach Briles, with your receivers, do you have the kind of depth there that you want at this point? I know they're not done a lot yet, but just kind of assess the depth there at receiver right now.
Yeah, Terry, I think we'll find out. This first week, I know they're going to get a lot of reps, and that's by design. We want to make sure that everybody's getting reps, everybody's getting to get on the field and be able to prove themselves. So those guys are going to get worn out. They better find a cold tub quick because they're going to need it. But I think our top level guys, first 5 to 6 guys, I think can be really explosive. And then we're going to have to just keep developing some of the younger guys and get them where they need to be. But I do think that is a very good group. I think it's a strong group for us offensively. We've got some really good leaders in there. Trey Knox, Mike Woods, Traylon Burks, those guys are really strong leaders in that group. And I'm excited to watch them. We can see them run around and stop and act like they're catching a ball, but I want to see them catch it. I want to see our quarterbacks throw it. So we're all excited for that.
On average, how many receivers do you generally play in a game? I know it probably varies a little bit, but how many guys should go in expecting to play?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends. And it also depends on how we feel about our tight ends, formationally, what we want to be in. If we feel like, we got a stronger tight end group than receiver group, then we may be in more 12 personnel with only 2 receivers on the field. If we feel really strong about our receivers and maybe not so much about the tight ends, and we may be in 4 receiver sets. So that kind of depends on once we get on the field and we're able to determine exactly what we have. Typically, you're going to see probably about 5 guys play a game, and some of those will be in limited roles. Most of the time, you're going to have 3 guys that will get the majority of the snaps.
We got time for 2 more. Mike, Irwin.
Coach, if you were to go back decades, really, Arkansas had one of the things they had was a history of not having multiple starting quarterbacks. You'd have a guy 3 years, 2 years. There weren't a lot of injuries at quarterback. These last 2 years have shell-shocked these fans with 7 starting quarterbacks in 2 years. And that's the number one question I get asked is that going to stop? So you're the guy that's going to coach these guys. How quickly do you think you can identify a starter, put a guy on the field, and keep him on the field at quarterback?
I think it's going to take a couple weeks to figure out exactly which guy that we feel like can lead us to victories. You got to get in the fire. You got to go in scrimmages, and obviously we're going to protect our quarterback, so they're not going to get hit. But we've got some guys like Felipe who have game experience and shoot. Really all of them, Jack and John and KJ, all those guys have played. So that doesn't bother me. As far as identifying, I don't think there's a set time when you do it. I think it's a feel. I think it's a feel with myself and Coach Pittman and frankly, the entire staff. Everybody's got to have a feel for the guy who's going to be touching the ball every single play. And, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm the person who's going to make that decision. I want us all to feel good about it. I feel like I'm going to have probably a pretty strong opinion. But hopefully Felipe will be what we think he is. And, there's still going to be competition, but I'd say it's going to be his job to lose.
Tom, you want to wrap us up?
That'd be great. Thanks, Kyle. We've heard Sam talk about the O-line, some body changes, some added weight. What are your thoughts about what you've seen from the O-line and the depth you might be able to create there?
Yeah, getting all these reps with these practices that we've had has really helped us. Schematically, being able to film it all, coach it all. Coach Davis does a tremendous job. Obviously, Coach Pittman, he's going to be having an eagle eye on the offensive line since that's what he's watched his entire life. I feel like we got some really good players right there. Coach Walker, our strength staff, has done an awesome job. You can tell from January to where we're at right now, these guys have changed physically. I think they've slimmed up and put on some muscle mass. They look good. I feel like our energy levels are really good at that position as well. We've got good players. Now we just got to go out and see how physical we can be. And, Barry, they do a lot of stuff on defense, and they're going to make it hard on us. So we're going to have to be able to come to work every single day and know exactly what we're getting into, because he does a great job. But I feel like the depth at that position, I think we'll have 10 guys that we feel really good about.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's going to wrap us up with Coach Briles. If you guys want to hang on for a minute, I've got some updates and kind of our plans moving forward here starting next week.